I think it can do it in several ways. One is that it allows people who are designing and implementing the program to have a common understanding of what it is they're doing with whom and why. It also allows them to engage with other stakeholder groups or interested parties to be able to establish whether that is a robust sort of logic, whether it makes sense in those conditions and with those groups. So right off the bat, I think this kind of thinking, if it's used sort of pervasively in design, the early implementation, the assessment and the review, in other words, all through the process, can actually help improve program outcomes. So again, it's in the context of using this not as a tool for an ex post evaluation, but as a way of thinking throughout the process. I think that can really help. I hope so. I mean, it won't be easy. Engagement is messy. It's with human organisms, after all, and it exists in all manners and shapes and forms. But I think the thing that this can do is get us to ask the right questions. Again, what is the nature of this group that I'm engaging with? What is the nature of the role and relationship that we have? Again, are they a regulated party? Are they somebody we fund? Are they somebody we co-deliver with and maybe call a partner, or perhaps a simple intermediary? Any of those kind of understandings can help us understand what it is we want out of the engagement, and then to be sort of clear and somewhat precise about whether we're getting there. So is it that we want to see timely and accurate information sharing? Is it that we need this group to deliver certain things on our behalf? Do they need to know certain things to be able to improve the overall situation? Or are they indeed the recipients or are they the beneficiaries of the program? So understanding who they are and what we need to see happen for the program to be successful is fundamental, and then measuring it's another matter, of course. But once we've clearly articulated the roles, the relationships, and what we expect to see, it becomes all the more easy to, even from the slightest bits of information, establish whether it's working. People often ask me, how do you measure trust? And I say, well, trust is difficult to measure, but we sure know what non-trust looks like, right? You can see it immediately. So if the engagement isn't working, you know it, and you often know it in the context of those roles and relationships that you need to have, but you know it not just intuitively, but by the information you can glean and pick up from even the slightest of sources. That's the other thing about engagement, by the way. It doesn't require a massive study or rigorous kind of modeling to be able to get it, and you can start the chain of results through engagement by looking at some of those bits of measurements. Again, who is coming to our meetings? What are they saying to us in correspondence? How is the reaction to various initiatives we've seen? And then what do we see evolving over time with them? All of those can be picked up by passive information collection as opposed to expensive direct collection. Yeah, so it is the International Year of Evaluation, and I think what it should mean for us is to, yes, make ourselves better, but make ourselves better by being useful. I'm a big fan of the idea that evaluation is only good if it's getting used, and if it's getting used well. And I think we need to be careful about not being too circumspect to increase our, let's call it, design rigor or our internal qualifications. And I think we should channel our energies to really being a useful process, way of thinking, and sort of engendered way of thinking in planning, management, and reporting.